So we just read the story, the Grimm Brothers story, Eve's various children. Do you want to give us a summary and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, so I guess in the story, Adam and Eve, they're cast out into the world, I guess, from outside the garden after they committed the original sin. So they settle, and Eve has several children, like beyond Cain and Abel, it seems. So
Every year they have one
yeah,
child.
every year. And I think, yeah, I think Adam's like working outside or working the field or something as like a farmer, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, so she has several children, and some are beautiful and some are ugly. So one day God wants to go visit their household, so he sends an angel to tell them so, and Eve is overjoyed, and she cleans up the house. Uh, and I guess the day of the visit, she takes her beautiful children and makes sure they're bathed and clothes, and gives them instructions to bow and raise up their hands like in honor of God when he comes in the house. And then she takes her other half, the ugly children, and has them go hide in various places throughout the house. So like under the tub, under a cloth that she uses to make clothes, because she's like spinning as a profession, and rugs, um, and just various places throughout the household. That were numerous. So, yeah, the Lord comes to the house, and he finds that he's like a very kind person. Um, and he immediately starts blessing the house. And when he sees the beautiful children, he decides to bless them too. So he makes the first one a king, the second one a prince, the third one like a count, and so on and so forth of that. Just like these very high noble titles. So there's a count, a knight, uh, a learned man, a
Yeah.
nobleman, like just all of these higher level positions in society. So Eve, when she sees all these blessings that she's given her beautiful children, she instructs her ugly children to come out of hiding, and she presents these children to the Lord. And in comparison to the beautiful children, they're dirty and unkept as well. So the Lord agrees so, and says that he'll give them blessings too. So he makes the forgot what he makes the first one. But he blesses them all as he goes down from child to child with professions such as a sailor, um, a tanner, a kitchen boy, an errand boy. Um, yeah,
The
just all of these
fisherman.
very, yeah, fishermen. Um, so yeah, all of these like various professions. And upon hearing them, Eve, she's upset, and she asks the Lord, why can't she give her ugly children these high-ranking positions like she blessed the beautiful children with? And the Lord tells her that um that all professions are needed, and there can't be a world with just kings and all these other kinds of nobles, and that these other like lower professions, they help support each other and society as a whole, so they're necessary too. When she hears that, Eve accepts it, and she apologizes to the Lord.
Yeah. I almost thought of not doing this story because it seemed very straightforward what the point of it was. Uh, what do you think the point of this is?
Well, yeah, I think it's I also think it's the same way. It's just very straightforward, but um, just yeah, like just like that like everyone can't be at the top and it's not realistic and that a functioning society it has people working like supporting all kinds of things so that we're then able to build upon that and be able to support like whoever we deem to be at the top of society status wise. So
Mm.
yeah, it's just that there's value in every profession and life type of life that people lead.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, what stuck out to me was that the ugly children were given the sort of more uh lower social status jobs, and the beautiful children were given the other jobs. I wonder what was that. I mean, I guess literally people that work with their hands and stuff, they do throughout the day they'll get a little more bodily dirty and unkempt than like a duke or a king or something like
Mhm.
that. And they look that way. Um But yeah, I guess I had like sort of a cultural conditioning to like see that as like class prejudice or something. But you didn't really see it that way.
No, I kind of saw it a story as saying that there's value and respectability in
Yeah, it seemed
every
like he
path
was
in life.
yeah, it seemed like he the tone and the content of what the Lord was saying. 'Cause like Eve had said, "Hey, wait a second, like I wanted the same uh blessings as the first time, like for the second set of children, as for the first set of children." He and seemed like he was kind of saying, yeah, he said, "You do not understand. It is right and necessary that the entire world should be supplied from your children. If they were all princes and lords, who would grow corn, thresh it, grind it, and bake it? Who would be blacksmiths, weavers, carpenters?" Yeah, kind of like what you were saying, like the world needs all these different things. So it's not a, I mean, it's not about your opinion and it's not about your thinking that some are more blessed than others. Like the world needs all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought that in a way Eve was kind of not seeing their value in the first place by hiding them. Uh, so
Right. I think that is the point. Yeah, I think, or at least that to me seems like the point. Like we in society, we often look at the king or the duke or whatever in an aristocratic society, or we could say like a
Mhm.
president or like a CEO nowadays as like very valuable. And we don't see the value of all the other people that are doing very useful
Mhm.
jobs. Yeah, that seems like the point of the story. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, that I read that into it. I guess because I mean, you probably absorbed some of this education too, right? Like we tend to be educated now and to see things through a class lens and like to see like the past as kind of like racist, sexist, classist, and sort of. So if I know I'm reading an old story, I'll kind of see it through that lens. And it's funny with the news stories too. I kind of see it as like through the lens of they're trying to address that in some way.
Mhm.
And we use that word address a lot, like kind of make some sort of symbolic reparations or something for the sins and the folly of the past. Yeah. But yeah, you and I were also talking briefly before about how we chose this story because it's sort of an apocryphal sort of story or sort of a like part of a tradition that we assumed kind of grows up around more official kind of sanctioned stories. Like this is not in the Bible, but this is what people talking and artists and things, folk artists and storytellers and things started to what maybe started to grow up around that. Or maybe this is part of also the oral tradition. We could maybe look
Mm,
that up later of like Hebrew and other storytellers that did not make
mm,
it into the official versions of like the religion's canon.
mhm,
But yeah, we like sort of that. I think I compared like the officially sanctioned stories to like an orchard carefully planted and managed
mm,
and upheld and guarded by authority. But the people start telling stories and apocryphal kind of stuff, and kind of like it's like a forest grows up around it. And in a way, I prefer the forest because yeah, it's just rich. It's full of life, and yeah, you do need like people to prune and to sort of uh, to value at different levels, and to say some things are more key than others, and that's good for a culture sometimes to organize itself around or to uphold. But yeah, I don't know. With stories and including religious stories, like I like there to be it to be part of a life-giving process, and not simply, yeah, I feel like when we have too much of the sanctioned canon and none of the extra stuff, we can kind of get, yeah, it kind of hurts the life of the culture.
mm.
But what do you think?
Well, maybe I was in a way kind of thinking about it because I thought like in the past there must have been already countless stories of how kings and all these high positions came about and stuff. Like these stories among the people. So like maybe these like non-sanctioned stories kind of provided an outlet to explain, the where the tanners, where the shoe keepers come from for like more common people. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so maybe something a little more relatable or like to kind of give kind of, I don't know, like maybe kind of some hope or esteem to the people too, common people.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have at least you and I did not know about a King Arthur origin story for like a blacksmith or something like that. Well,
Yeah.
in ancient Greek mythology, there was like the blacksmith Hephaestus, who was a god. But anyway, of like other positions, a farmer, a
Mm-hmm.
tanner, or something like that. At least
Hmm.
in European culture, yeah,
Yeah.
this is one of those things. And yeah, one does want to have a sense of dignity for those jobs. I mean, Rousseau, who's of course the sort of champion of like nature and the people pull, as opposed to the aristocracy or something like that. He says in Emile that the value of a job in society is inversely proportionate to how much it is esteemed. And I kind of think that's true. I mean, it is very important to have very good leaders at key times and at crucial times in history. But most of the time, you could, I think, argue that the value of the various sort of working people is like much more than like the upper class people, like food and basic security and transportation and what a few other things probably are generally much more important than like uh the types of papers that like bureaucrats and politicians and things are shuffling around, and the types of things that they're saying to try to influence people or to gain
Mhm.
power for themselves.
Mhm.
But what do you think?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mentioned Hephaestus, the or Vulcan, the Greco-Roman god, that was some kind of progenitor of uh, blacksmiths. But do you know of other origin stories? I wonder about this kind of thing. I wonder about all the new types of jobs that people have and the new job titles too, and the sort of PC way that we try to give like complex names, complex and abstract sorts of names to jobs, you know?
Mm.
What do you think about? Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, I was thinking of how today maybe there's a lack of balance in going the other way where uh maybe we try to like overinflate, I guess, the role or maybe like status of like positions or trying to make everyone feel like they're somehow like closer to the top. Um,
Yeah,
so
well, I think we do that in school
yeah,
too with grade inflation.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we're trying to raise everybody, so it's kind of pointless.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what I see the like these complex job titles that are really just something can be simplified a lot in some most of the time. That's what
Yeah,
I see them as a sign of.
and it increases the BS of everyday life when people are using complex titles for like what is it that you do? Like I don't understand from your title what you do, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like a farmer might be like an agricultural engineer or something.
Yeah, or
Uh,
specialist or
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this is just yeah. Yeah, the whole PC thing, I really don't like it. I do think it's like increasing just the BS of everyday life. You know, and yeah, like you said, it's trying to affect how we think about people, supposedly make them more dignified by making them more complex and abstract, like they're doing something really cool that involves data and involves uh chains of things, and you know
Mm,
they're they're ensconced in this complex kind of bureaucracy and this giant organization, you know. They're not it's not like they have a body and they have skill that they've gained over time that was partially taught to them by a master or somebody, and that they do this job that's useful, that you understand, you know what it is that comes out of that job and you find that useful too. It's like everything becomes shrouded in in these titles, in this mystery, you know. And
mm,
I think you could even, if you were uh, a parody artist or something, you could kind of almost start to show how all of this becomes obscure to the point of like uh ineffective magic or something like that. I don't know. Like I'm thinking
mm,
how it all could be magic or um like people think it's magic, but really in the end it's kind of like the emperor has no clothes. Like we don't get that much done here. We don't know what other people are doing, and we don't find meaning in this, and other people don't understand, like other people outside the organization don't understand what it is that we do, that what I do, but they know they're supposed to have a kind of esteem for it, and it's all mysterious, and
mm,
you know, it starts to seem like some kind of communist bureaucracy or something like that,
mm,
in late communism.
mm,
You know, we're shuffling papers around, numbers, manipulating things, but you know, what is the point?
mm.
But yeah, do you know? But yeah, I'll just kind of repeat my question. But you don't know any like sort of origin stories of? of these types of things. I mean, there have to be, right? But I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
sure there must be, but yeah, I'm just not familiar with many of them.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
good to know though. Like maybe in a polytheistic society, it's a little bit easier. I think in the Catholic Church, you probably have a lot of like patron saints, right, of different types of
yeah,
jobs and things.
yeah, it's like yeah, pretty much lots of professions have their own saint, and um,
And
yeah.
that saint would have been someone who did that profession, right?
I don't quite remember, but I would assume so, or their story is related in some way
Mm.
to that prof or connected to somehow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Which is kind of, yeah, again, to me, like Catholicism has a lot of the benefits because of the panoply of saints, has a lot of the benefits of polytheism. But yeah. Well,
yeah,
do you
like
have anything more to add about this?
mm, not really, just that. Yeah, like this modern day thing. I think it's about kind of overinflating egos and giving an illusion of proximity to the elite, the elite. Um,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so yeah, like I said, we're gone too far in this time that we're in, where we were like really trying to like distance ourselves from what we might see as like lower professions or and their status.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one way to interpret it. Yeah, and I think that is a lot of what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah, and I just feel there's this inhuman level of abstraction,
yeah,
and we're concrete and bodily, physical beings, and we
mm,
kind of we need connection with the physical world, and this kind of PC language kind of brings us away from that.
mm. Yeah, yeah. It's just like a distraction from like what's real and important too.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it is important to be, yeah, to be focused and to be connected to what is real and important.
mm,
Yeah, and maybe we'll continue to keep talking about that and talking about how to get closer to that and hopefully helping others to do that too. Get that sense of the real.
mm,
Okay. Well, until next week.
mm.
Okay, take care.